Hello, I'm Mark Schober with Bremer Bank. In the agriculture industry, data has become critical. Today, most tractors and farming equipment are computers on wheels, collecting tons of data about soil, crops, and machinery. In fact, John Deere now employs more software engineers than mechanical engineers. These engineers make sure their machines can gather data that can be used to help farmers improve their returns. But how can you handle all this information? Managing a pile of data that could fit in a grain bin is no easy task, especially when you need to be out in the field or in the shop. Let's take a look at how farmers can make the most of their data. First, you need to think about how your data is going to be used and by who. For example, as a bank, the data we find most helpful is anything related to the profitability and efficiency of your operation. Any information that helps us understand the status of your operation and whether you can take on more debt, a new loan, purchase new property, etc. is useful for us. In the same way, an agronomist would want to access all sorts of map data to understand your soil health, including pH, fertility, and moisture levels. Your employees, especially those who operate machinery, may also want access to data. Equipment performance, yield, outputs, and overall efficiencies would all be information that they would find useful. As you collect data, think about how you and your partners will use it. You may decide you need to collect different data or interpret it another way. Knowing how and who will use it will help guide your information collection process. Our Vice President of Strategy and Innovation, Melissa Carmichael, will show us 4 ways you can use your data.
To make the most of your data, adopt what's known as the 4 V's of big data: volume, velocity, variety, and veracity. Using the 4 V's will help ensure your data is accurate and useful. Volume simply means the amount of data you collect. Volume is important because you need enough data to compare and identify patterns. For example, knowing the temperature for one day doesn't tell us much, but having the weather information over a long period of time allows us to see patterns. In fact, yearly weather records can provide you with useful data for nearly every in-field decision. For example, having statistics for average daily temperature can help you decide when you're going to plant, if you need to change seed variety, when to spray, and when to apply nitrogen. You'll better be able to predict your growing degree days and schedule other activities accordingly. The next V is velocity. You can also think of this as timing. For your data to be relevant, it needs to be on time. For example, you may use aerial imagery to provide a range of information including ground and crop temperature, crop health, weeds pressure, and expected yield. This data isn't useful to you if it comes a month late. It's critical to be able to collect timely information, but also to have it delivered and interpreted. Setting a little time aside each week to look at your data will be more useful than only looking at it once a year. As technology has advanced, there's more variety in the data you're able to collect. In past years, if you had a low yield spot, you might not know why. Now with the variety of data you can collect, you can see the whole picture. Having data about ground temperature, moisture levels, and nutrients in the soil can help you pinpoint what's causing issues and then address it. If you don't have variety, you won't have all the pieces of the puzzle. The final V is veracity, also known as the quality of your data. Making sure your equipment is calibrated correctly is the first step. If you're using multiple machines to collect your data, taking extra steps to ensure the data being collected is correct is critical. If one machine is giving a different reading than others, the data is likely not accurate. And if your equipment isn't calibrated, the data could be filled with unexplained anomalies. Another reason you need accurate data: your data is used for benchmarking and seeing patterns. If the information you collect is inaccurate, then it's not valuable. Lastly, when you're comparing data, make sure you're not comparing apples to oranges. The timing, duration, location, and equipment used can cause great variances. When trying to set a benchmark, it's important to consider potential variables.
If If you've spent money and time on equipment to collect data for your operation, it would be wasteful not to use it. Here are some things to consider. Analyze. When we talk about using data, we mean more than just exporting it to a spreadsheet or jotting it down. Depending on the size of your operation, you may want to invest in software that can help interpret and organize this information. Some companies offer both hardware and software as one product, allowing you to integrate your data collection and analytics into one platform. At a minimum, look for patterns in the data so that you can set benchmarks. Make changes. The data that you collect and interpret can help you identify and fix problems. For example, the data might reveal that certain parts of your field need more water than others. Or maybe soil nutrient density is greater in certain parts, meaning you can adjust your fertilizer prescription and save money. Using the data to optimize your yields will ensure it's a worthwhile investment. Back up your data. This sounds like a no-brainer, but it can be easy to forget to back up your data. Your data is no good if you lose it all. This can be as simple as printing out some of the files or just buying a backup hard drive to download your files to. You'll be glad you did it. Don't forget about privacy. As mobile devices become more and more common, many often collecting personal data, privacy has become a steadily trending topic. Just as there are concerns with Siri and Alexa, farm equipment has faced similar scrutiny for its ability to collect your data. This includes the equipment you use and your inputs. While it's not necessarily bad to share your data, be sure to understand how your data is being used by those other than you and your partners. At a minimum, don't share your data portal login information. When you do share your data, make sure it's in read only, meaning other users can't edit your data. Treat your data like another tool in your shed. Using it effectively can really help your operation run smoother, more efficiently, and profitably. You don't have to spend hours each day analyzing every piece of information. Simply looking for patterns and setting some benchmarks can make a real difference and help you make well-informed decisions. Thank you for watching today, and be sure to check out our other videos in our Ag series.